Hey there, welcome to GamePoints episode 140, your weekly little get-together. We talk about recent gaming news. I'm, as always, your host, Stephen Brown, and joining me today is...
I'm David, take two.
Tonight, David, we're going to get into some Twitch Prime bullshit. We're going to talk about some EA news, specifically around Patrick Söderlund and EA's dire warnings, not EA's dire warnings, but apparently Battlefield 5 issues, as well as a few other things, including the possible return of a very, very beloved franchise.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to get to that, but we'll talk about some other stuff first. I do want to start the show though.
Okay.
I know you're gonna get into, hey, if you enjoy our show, make sure you like, subscribe, and do all that internet bragging or pleading stuff. I don't know, whatever that is. But I have to mention the fact that Monster Hunter World on PC legitimately killed my computer this week. We have to talk about that.
Okay, and we will. So before we get into that, and we'll mention that here in a second, if you are watching us live here at Twitch TV/GamePoints, feel free to join into the chat. This is an audience interactive podcast, so feel free to bring in your topics, questions, or concerns. If you can't watch us live and you're watching us over at youtube.com/c/GamePointsPC, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff down below, and I try to get back to you whenever we can. Like I said, this show is as much for yours to join in as us, so feel free to hop in whenever you want. David.
Talk, complain, all that fun stuff. Like I want to.
Monster Hunter World on PC killed your PC.
Yeah, basically. I mean, we've heard like reports that it's not well optimized, that it's kind of taxing a lot of systems. There's a weird NVIDIA bug where it's like pushing graphics cards too much. Obviously, there's tons of connection error issues and just a lot of stuff going on with the game. And for my computer, which is a little older, it's been actually pushing both my CPU and GPU to like their limits the entire time the game's on. Like both are running like 90, 100%. Fan speeds are capped out. And it actually managed to crap out my power supply. I don't think I've had both parts running at max for so long. And I got to the Coral Highlands and it was done.
Just go. So what happened? Did your computer just shut down, or did it lock up, or?
Oh, I legitimately started smelling burnt electronics.
I hope it's just your power unit and that you didn't fry your graphics card or anything.
Oh no, I shut everything down. I took the whole thing apart. I checked everything, and it is just the power supply. It just died out on me. Basically,
it's just dead.
Yeah, and the whole power supply just reeks of that burnt electronic smell. It's so gross.
The
rest of the computer seems fine.
I don't know what to say about that. That's
it's just ridiculous. So
now, were you running it on high, or were you running it on low?
Nope. Nope. My computer's running that game at like medium low.
So I am told
turned off. I have all kinds of stuff turned off.
I'm told if you have a really good PC, that game is amazing. But like you were saying, it is just not optimized. So mid-range to low PCs are going to get, in this case, literally destroyed by that game.
Yep. But it depends. I know I had a lot of people that have worse computers than me that are managing to play it just fine, not having any issues. I don't know. I thought it was doing fine.
Now I think it's frame rate. I think it's important to note that you said your PC, or your power supply unit, was, 9-10 years old at this point?
Yeah, probably.
So it's not like power supplies die after a while. I mean, they do die after a while, but they can go for a very long time. It's not like, say, a graphics card.
Yeah, I just think it wasn't as efficient as it could have been and just had problems and managed to overheat itself.
Fair enough. All right.
Oh, well.
That sucks.
So if you're wondering why the show was a little weird, I'm on a laptop, but I more or less have everything mounted in the same place. I'm just making it work today.
All right.
Using a dead monitor to hold my camera up. Fun.
So let's get into the news. First off, I want to do a little bit of an update. Last week, David, you weren't here.
I was not.
The hour we were live with the show 2 weeks ago, a giant scandal hit the gaming journalism news press, and this was this plagiarism, and I'm not even going to say allegations. Philip Mooson, formerly of IGN, plagiarized his Dead Set reviews from a fellow by the name of Boomstick Gaming on YouTube. Boomstick Gaming noticed what happened, put out a video, shit went viral. IGN, to their credit, within 24 hours, killed the review, took it down, and fired Philip Mooson. He was gone within 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Philip Moosen then puts out this apology video that apologizes to his fans, but doesn't apologize to Boomstick Gaming or anything else. It's not really, he doesn't really take ownership of what happened. He just kind of goes, oh, I didn't know what happened. And it was so poorly received, he took it down. But not before he essentially calls out Jason Schreier over at Kotaku, saying the only reason people are writing about this is for the outrage clicks. And he dares the internet to find more things he plagiarized.
Oh, man, I love the internet.
As we all know, never dare the internet to do anything because they will do it. We are talking about a group of people that found Shia LaBeouf's little flag out in the middle of nowhere based on the pattern of stars and airplane travel. What jets are flying in the air at what time. So they will
the
find
never
out.
Forgets.
They will find out. You have a massive group of weaponized free time that can be directed at a problem. And sure enough, this jackass plagiarized a whole bunch more. And it accumulated with IGN here, and a tweet from Justin Davis, who's one of the editors over at IGN. He's one of their older ones. He's an editorial manager. Says the following on August 14th. Deeply disappointed and upset that's looking more and more likely that we have unwittingly hosted work that was directly lifted from, or at best heavily derived from others. I assure you we are taking very active steps to remove it all to make it right. I feel betrayed. To those asking, all of the author's scripted byline content is now being proactively removed regardless of whether some of it was found to have an issue. Some of it may be restored later. Some important coverage may be redone by other writers. Much of it will remain offline. This dude turns out fucking plagiarized all kinds of people. There's a FIFA story going around. There's some stuff from Nintendo Life. There's a couple other YouTube videos it looks like he might have ripped off from. But the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme of his plagiarism is that he ripped off another IGN editor for a feature he did on Octopath Traveler where he lifted almost word for word lines in the Octopath Traveler review from one of the members of the IGN UK team.
So classy.
It's so bad that this guy they even looked at his LinkedIn resume and it literally is copy and pasted from a template.
Amazing. That guy's never had an original thought. That's fun.
I covered this story last week on Monday before we knew how bad this was.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
I don't want to get too much into it because I kind of said already I wanted to say last week. So David, what do you feel about this?
Well, now that it's sort of more or less resolved, I think it's hilarious. At the time, it was like pretty fucking like asinine. Like this guy had no journalistic integrity whatsoever, and that's pretty shitty that they would just lift stuff. And I don't know, I feel like he just made a bad call. He's not a journalist. He's a guy who got a job. And
okay, so let me pause you real quick because a lot of the people who work for these sites have no journalistic training to begin with either. So I don't accept the argument of, oh, he was just a YouTuber, he's going to make mistakes.
I didn't say that.
You said he's not. He said he's not a journalist, though. It sounded like you were going that route.
I'm saying he's not a journalist, not because of his background or anything else. I'm saying he's not a journalist because all he's ever done is fucking plagiarize. That's
okay,
why
I wanted a little bit more of a clarification on that because I could hear people.
Yeah, I have no problem with people who like make YouTube videos, getting into games journalism and starting to write articles and doing stuff like that. You don't have to have like a journalism degree to be a journalist in my book. I don't give a shit about that. Having an original thought is what's important.
Okay. No, I agree. And it's not... How do you not have a thought about if you liked a video game or not?
Right? It seems like the easiest thing to talk about.
I
played this game. Here's what my experience was like. Here's what I thought about it. Here's what I didn't think about it.
Yeah, this isn't one of those situations where it's an academic paper and someone is stealing someone else's work that they researched and spent all this time on and just saying it's their own. This is you literally plagiarizing someone's opinions.
That's so weird.
And I'm not going to say video game reviews are easy or anything like that, because it does take some talent to craft the sentences to keep it from sounding boring, to keep from using the same word over and over and over again. But come on, man. Put your thoughts down on paper and bust out a thesaurus if you have to.
Right?
That's why you have a reviews editor at IGN. The reviews editor at IGN is a guy by the name of Dan Stapleton. That's why you have him there. Fucking hit him up as a resource. I would love to have Dan Stapleton as my editor to go, hey, I wrote this. What do you think? Give me feedback.
Yeah.
This guy was given all the tools he could to succeed, and he fucked it up. Not only did he fuck it up so badly, but on his way out, he damaged the reputation of IGN. This shit's not going to be forgotten. They're going to be getting hammered for this for years and years and years. Anyways, now we're getting more into what I was covering last week, and I don't want to rehash all of it.
It's just ridiculous.
Fuck this
Buy
kid.
that guy.
That said, don't go seeking him out, sending him hate mail and all that stuff. I feel like I'm gonna
definitely avoid being a dick on the internet. This guy did a shitty thing, but he basically got his comeuppance. You don't need to add to the pile. You don't need to yell at him or send him any bullshit. Just
his punishment fits the crime. He has not only been fired, but good luck finding a job somewhere else.
Yeah.
When it comes to this field,
mm-hmm.
It's not like he can't go to McDonald's and get a job there or anything like that.
I'm sure he can. They actually like it if everybody does it the same way.
All right, David.
Oh, we're going to get mad?
Yeah, let's get a little mad here. Why don't you lead this one off?
Fucking Jeff Bezos. Twitch Prime, which, if you're watching this, you may have, is...
By the way, if you do have Twitch Prime and you're still sitting on your free sub, feel free to give it to us.
Oh, yeah. Feel free. Well, you can if you still have it because you have it from an Amazon Prime subscription or whatever. But we're getting ads back. Quote, as we have continued to add value to Twitch Prime, we have also reevaluated some of the existing Twitch Prime
Should mention
benefits.
this is from the Twitch blog itself, by the way.
Mm-hmm. As a result, universal ad-free viewing will no longer be part of Twitch Prime for new members starting on September 14th. Twitch Prime members with monthly subscriptions will continue to get ad-free viewing until October 15th. If you already have an annual subscription, or if you upgrade to an annual subscription before September 14, you will continue with ad-free viewing until your next renewal date. This is ridiculous. So back in the day, in order to get no ads on Twitch, you had to subscribe to Twitch Turbo, which is like $8 a month. It was this whole big thing. Amazon bought Twitch. That fucking happened. Amazon Prime is a thing that exists. They get you 2-day shipping and a bunch of other bullshit. And Twitch Prime was added as a feature. Like, look at that. Twitch Prime lets it so I can watch Twitch all day.
Yeah, if you had Amazon Prime, congratulations, you got Twitch Prime now.
Most importantly, I can watch my favorite content creators. And even though I'm skipping the ads because of my Amazon Prime membership, the content creators are still getting paid as if I was watching their advertisements.
That is not necessarily true.
As far as I understand it from everything I've read, and I'm sure the internet's big and there's something out there that's contradicting me, I haven't seen it. So if you have, please send it in the comments or on chat.
Yeah, from what I understand, all Twitch Prime does is let you get around from the ads on there. So let's say a Twitch streamer shows ads. They don't get money from the Twitch Prime. Now, Twitch Prime, I could be wrong on that.
The way
By
I
no means do I know.
understood it when I was reading it is that if you were a Prime member and you were on Twitch Prime, when the ad were to play, since you have the Prime membership, it would still count you among the viewership for that advertisement or that content creator.
All right. I don't know the particulars of ads because the long and the short of it is ads suck.
Ads absolutely suck.
Streamers can choose to run ads on their channels. As far as I am committed to, I will not run ads on my channels because it's anti-hype. What happens is you run an ad on your channel, you lose people watching your channel.
Makes sense to me.
So I get it. And all this is going to do is have people flick on ad block again. Which is
basically. And that one, they're guaranteed not to get any fucking money.
Yeah.
That's the thing that bothers me. We're probably going to see them roll out like some kind of Twitch Turbo again, so you can pay an additional monthly fee just to block ads on Twitch. And that's not the end of this story. Let's also talk about the fact that Twitch is owned by Amazon, right?
Yep.
Well, I just got the email from Amazon that in addition to Twitch Prime changing and no longer getting ad-free viewing, the 20% off for video game pre-orders is also going away if you're an Amazon Prime member. Instead, you can get a $10 in-store credit on select titles that expires in 60 days.
Now, see, this one doesn't bother me as much because I always saw the 20% off pre-orders as a temporary thing anyways. It was an aggressive move designed to steal market share from brick-and-mortar stores and other online retailers.
Well, I mean, Best Buy does the same thing, and they still do it.
Do they still do it? I could have sworn they canceled it, but I could be wrong.
So their Gamers Club Unlocked actually let you do 20% off all new games, period, full stop.
Then go to Best Buy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my stance on it.
Unless you're watching a lot of television on Amazon or you're ordering stuff constantly, the reasons to keep an Amazon Prime membership for $120 a year is that list is getting shorter.
Yeah. Now, I do order a bunch of stuff on Amazon, like nonstop. I get my $120 now, where if it used to be $100. This is yet another increase to the Prime thing. I still get my money's worth out of it between the cheaper shipping, the cheaper games with the even with $10 credit instead of 20% off. Amazon Prime TV I still use a lot. I still get a lot of benefits from Twitch Prime, especially all the free games that I've gotten. I have played a few of those. All that combined.
Well, technically, the 20% down to $10 is only actually losing you $2.
Yeah, or it depends what it is. If it's a game that comes out at $50 or $40, I wonder if that applies still.
And that's the thing, is it's select games.
Okay.
So it could be not even all new games. I mean, who knows?
Either way, this is a clear cash grab, and it really doesn't have any benefits to any of the... If you're talking the streamer side of things, there are no benefits to streamers here that I can see.
No benefits to streamers, no benefits to consumers. This is all putting money in pockets.
Yeah, if anything, it damages streamers. If it works out the way you said, where they could run ads, but if you had Twitch Prime, you didn't see the ad, it damages them now because the people who have Twitch Prime see ads and just go to another channel or turn the stream off. Because there are people, I'm one of them. If I see an ad on a channel, it's like a commercial break on TV. I immediately change the channel to see who else is on.
Yeah, just flip something else. Sure,
so,
you'll find something.
Yeah, it's a bad move.
There's unlimited content on the internet at this point.
Yeah.
And you can work around ads.
You know what I am fine with?
Luckily, Twitch doesn't have the 20-minute commercials that YouTube does yet, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, if you don't skip ad, it just keeps playing.
Yeah, well, some of them are just like 10-minute music videos and just weird bullshit that you have to watch.
Oddly enough, you talk about how there's content everywhere now. Oddly enough, what I am fine with are in-show product placement ads. So, like that's when your favorite podcaster stops for a second and goes, now let me tell you about Movement Watches or Blue Apron or all those other things. I think there's like MeUndies or something like that. That, you know, all the script reads.
And then they just read a little cue card and it's, hey, this person is paying me money so that I can continue to bring you content. So give me 40 seconds to read this to you and then we'll go right back to it.
It's really archaic though, because that's shit they used to do in radio.
Yeah.
So it's funny how we've come full circle on that. I just found it hilarious. But anyways, let us know what you think about Twitch Prime putting ads back in there. If you happen to like the Twitch Prime ad, if you think this is good. If you're a streamer and think this is a good idea, I would love to hear from you. I haven't seen a single streamer defend this yet. Are you still going to be holding on to Twitch Prime? Or are you getting rid of it as the Strawberry comes back? Let us know in chat or in the comments down below. The comments, not the comics, down below.
I mean, if you want to draw us a comic expressing your feelings on Twitch Prime, then you absolutely do that.
By all means. It could be Lost Point 2.
Nice.
All right, next story. I'm a little salty at this, but not for the story itself. Patrick Söderlund, who big name at EA, is leaving EA this year ahead of the Battlefield 5 release coming out in October. And Jason Schreier wrote this article about him on Kotaku. And let me read you the article, and I'll tell you why I don't like actually this article here. Longtime executive Patrick Söderlund, who spent nearly 20 years working at Electronic Arts in various positions. Let me actually bring up the text here. Oh, no. What happened? No.
Nice job.
I scrolled over to the wrong game. Here we go. Longtime executive Patrick Söderlund, who spent nearly 20 years working at Electronic Arts in various positions, is leaving the publisher this year. Quote, "We wish Patrick the very best in his next life adventure, and we thank him for his many significant contributions, end quote, said EA boss Andrew Wilson in a letter to employees. Söderlund served as CEO of DICE before rising up the ranks to take over EA's worldwide studios, where he oversaw publisher development projects ranging from Battlefield to Madden. Earlier this year, his title changed yet again as EA announced in April that he would become Chief Design Officer. Laura Millet now oversees EA's game development studios. Cool. Awesome. Patrick Söderlund, of course, made EA a shit ton of money and made a bunch of questionable decisions, one of which we'll get to later. My problem with the article, and with all due respect to Jason Schreier, I think he is like the one actual journalist in games media today. He's willing to go out and do the dirt and all that. This article is written to make it sound like you should hate this man for how much money he made. I absolutely hate that. It goes on to talk about he made this much. His employees only make this much. He's walking away with $20 million. It's like, motherfucker, yeah, if I negotiated that money, I want that money when I leave. I do not fault him for getting paid. And to people who are saying he doesn't deserve that money, take a look at how much money EA made when they came in compared to when he is going. The people who actually own EA, you know, the guys who are putting money into the company to make the games that you guys love, felt like he was worth that much. Patrick Söderlund negotiated a contract that determined he was worth that much. He said, I am worth this much, pay me, and EA agreed to pay him. It is a transaction. They bought him for a bit of time. He worked there. He left. He got paid. We should not hate him for making something, what was it, $42 million? And this article is written in such a way that it's designed to make us go, oh, fuck that guy. He's got money. And everyone with money is evil. He should be giving it to everyone else who works on him. And sure, if you want to open up your own studio, knock yourself out. Share your profits with them. If there's a story about Dead Cells, about how apparently that team split all the profits equally amongst everyone on there, awesome, good for them. But I am not going to fucking demonize someone just because they made a shit ton of money, and fuck off with this class warfare bullshit.
I mean, he got a shit ton of money, and part of the thing is he had like a $20 million bonus that was in an attempt to like keep him around, and it's not clear whether or not he's actually going to walk away with that. But I'm surprisingly kind of with you on this one, because when he was given the job in 2016, the share price for EA was like $79 a share, and when he became the CDO this year, he had bumped it from $80 to $120.
Yeah, and
which means that the stock went up by half, like 50,
on his watch,
some odd percent up while he was there. And if you're looking at the entire value of the company, if your stock goes up by half, that is a fuck ton of money.
Now, the argument is
way more than $20 million.
A lot of that money should have gone to be given raises to the people working there. And they're like, oh, that money should go there. But you know what? I appreciate that. Yes, they should probably get raises. But they determined he is worth that much. Where do you get off saying, like, the entire article is framed to make him look like an asshole for making that much money? Fuck off. I love you, Jason Schreier. I like the work you do, but I expect better from you, and this article is just dripping with what appears to be jealousy and fucking pettiness.
The only problem I have with it is that it's making Patrick look like an asshole. There's definitely assholes here. I mean, this guy got a ridiculous amount of money, and the CEO team's probably making a shit ton of money. And if they did have the stock jump that much, this is a clear example of the fact that trickle down doesn't work at fucking all. No matter how much money a company makes, bottom level employees don't get any more. That's just how it is. But that decision wasn't made by Patrick, as far as I know. There's a whole board, there's shareholders, there's all kind of people that make those decisions. This is just a guy that did his job really well and got a bonus.
Yeah. Regardless if we agree with what he did is another story entirely, which we'll actually touch on in the next story here coming up. But you can say loot boxes suck. You can say that he fucked up Battlefront 2. You can say that Mass Effect Andromeda was on his watch and bombed. But the cold hard reality the cold hard truth of reality here is he fucking massively increased the stock price at EA, made people a lot of money, and got paid for it. From their end, if you look at just the financials, that dude's tenure was a success.
Yeah. He was a guy that was hired to do a job, and then he did the job well, and then they paid him money.
Now,
the amount of money he made is completely unreasonable to normal folk like you and I, but that's not really what we're talking about. There's this guy that's worked at EA for a long time, and he's leaving EA. Bye, Patrick.
yeah, and if you want to criticize Patrick Söderlund, go after him after Battlefront 2.
Yeah,
go
no,
after
there's
him about Mass
all
Effect.
kinds of shit you can go after this guy about, but I don't think the guy sat there and said, "I'm gonna make $50 million this year." I don't think that's what happened.
Even if he did, making $50 million is not evil. It is not. If people who are working at EA don't like what they're getting paid, and this is where the fucking hardcore capitalists is going to be, if you do not like how much money you are making, negotiate a better contract or find a better company to work for.
I'm just at least, okay. Actually, someone can look this up and let me know. But I'm pretty sure that EA doesn't have any employees that are on food stamps or welfare.
The article does mention that the average person at EA makes around $90,000 a year. You know what? Congratulations, you're probably in the top 10% of people worldwide.
Like that's pretty good.
So
like I get being mad at like certain companies that are like unscrupulous and bullshit, but let's be mad at like the really bad ones. EA's done a lot of bullshit, and loot boxes are shitty, and they pulled them out, and they're making decisions that maybe will work for them besides a release window for an upcoming game that we'll talk about later. But Walmart still exists. Like
Walmart employs a bunch of people who cannot. I don't want to go down this path too hard, but Walmart employs a bunch of people who cannot find jobs elsewhere. They might not pay them much, but they do pay them. But that's an entirely another story.
Yeah,
I know
that's
a whole can of worms.
What companies are evil and what
to be
companies
honest,
aren't,
I don't have the information on hand to actually defend Walmart right now, so let's not go down that path. All I'm saying is that I get income inequality is an issue. I understand that. But this article is so fucking dripping with envy. And if you make above a certain number in my head that I happen to disagree with, you're fucking evil. This article is dripping with that, and I expect more from Jason Schreier, who I love. I fucking love this man's work. And it is so disappointing.
Much plug his book like every other episode, so I'm also a big fan of Jason Schreier.
So disappointing to see such a...
It's just a weird article.
It is.
It's just unexpected from who the source is.
Yeah. Now,
like, here's a story, and then here's like some not necessary information that's been added to this story.
This article is not a news piece as much as him trying to push his own political agenda. And okay, that's fine. I get it. I'm not saying that you can't do that. But I do expect a little bit more from you, Mr. Schreier. Anyways, moving on. By the way, Jason, if somehow this come back to you, I fucking love your work. The reason why I'm so driven nuts by this...
He hasn't read your book, but I have. Don't listen to him. I like you more.
The reason why I'm so driven nuts by this particular article is because we criticize things we like, right? And things we don't like, we just kind of shrug off into the corner. So please understand that if that comes your way. Anyways, if you wanted something to actually criticize Patrick Söderlund on, let's bring up the next story here.
Oh, man, let's talk about this game that they're going to bring out soon.
Via CNBC. Analysts predict...
We've cited them more this year than we ever have.
It is, because I get kind of into the businessy side of things, and they talk about investors and stuff like this. Headline. Analyst predicts EA's Battlefield 5 will be a serious disappointment, says pre-orders lag Call of Duty by more than 85%.
All right, now this is like a businessy topic, and it can get a little numbery or weedy, but we will do our best to actually make this entertaining and not start throwing a bunch of data at you, because data is bullshit, as we all know.
Right. So I can, the second I start spitting out exact numbers, your eyes glaze over. So from the article itself, EA's most important non-sports game this holiday season is struggling, according to Cohen. By the way, Cohen is an analytical firm. The firm reiterated its market platform rating for EA shares, citing weak pre-orders for publisher's Battlefield 5 title. EA's Battlefield 5 currently appears to be potentially heading for serious disappointment, says analyst Doug Kruitz on a note on Monday. It's lagging far behind Call of Duty, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Assassin's Creed. Keep in mind, you pointed this out to me, Battlefield 5 is sandwiched between Call of Duty and Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yes, this is a thing that is happening. You have Call of Duty releasing, The next week, Battlefield 5 releases. The next week, Red Dead Redemption 2 releases.
It's or
They
like the
are
next 2 weeks for Red
literally
Dead Redemption 2, but it's
going
close.
to get Titanfall 2'd, except for the difference this time is they don't happen to own one of the games doing the crushing. Because if you remember, Titanfall 2 came out in 2016, and that was sandwiched between a Call of Duty game and Battlefield 1. Which was just stupid. You sent an awesome game out to die. If for some reason you haven't played Titanfall 2, it's still one of the best fucking shooters released in this generation. And it's a crime that they sent it out like that.
And it's getting worse, by the way, because Kurtz has said it's slightly more than it was 2 weeks ago in the case of the first two. So the gap between pre-orders is increasing. So that it is so bad for them. Now, what caused all this, you might ask? Well, there's been some talk on the internet about what might be causing this. In reality, it's all of it combined. The culture wars
it's a little bit everything.
Yeah, the culture wars kind of picked this ball up and ran with it. Battlefield 5 is kind of a hot topic, which I'll get to. But honestly, it's all of these factors combined, and likely even more, of which some of this will lay on Patrick Söderlund's feet, as I'll get to. First, this is a shit time to release.
Yeah,
as we just discussed. It is
They should have been doing everything in their power to release, October 2nd or whatever the first Tuesday is in October. So that way they have a week and a half buffer to Call of Duty and an extra month, or not a month, but almost a month between it and Red Dead.
Yeah, it is so bad to release anything big, and they're getting their shit eaten because of it. 2, EA has been badgered by non-stop bad press over the past year of both Mass Effect Andromeda sucking, Battlefront 2 and the loot box controversy. You had Anthem get fucking delayed till next year. It has been non-stop bad press for EA, and this is something that can be laid at Söderlund's feet. You want to criticize him during his tenure at EA? Hit him for this, because he is going out on a low note. And I think this might be one of the reasons he's actually bouncing out, because he doesn't want to swallow what's going to happen to Battlefield 5.
Yeah, the loot box nonsense from Battlefront really screwed him over. Now, they did talk about the fact that this game isn't going to have loot boxes. It's going to be like a better return to form, like a more classic shooter, at least in release schedule-wise. Like actual chunk DLC as opposed to constant microtransactions and all that bullshit. Yeah, and then there's the fact that people don't seem that hype about Battlefield 5 in general. Call of Duty to World War II last year.
Right. And then the third one. This one's a bit more nebulous, but it did affect it in my opinion. Battlefield 5 wasn't really generally well received because of its seemingly brighter art style and more unrealistic gameplay. A lot of people compared it unfavorably to Fortnite with the way some of it looked because it was very brightly colored. Then you had some jackasses get all bent out of shape because it was going to be a woman lead.
Even though it's probably going to have multiple characters like the last Battlefield game did. And it's literally just someone they used in the trailer.
And then you had some people have legit concerns over historical accuracy. But the problem was, from the other side of things, especially when you had the game's press, anyone who complained about the game, especially using, hey, historical accuracy, Battlefield kind of was a little bit more historical based, all got lumped into this category of, well, if you fucking criticize it for any of that, you're a misogynist. It's like, well, no. I just don't like the fact that it looks like Fortnite now. Misogyny! And it's just a game. It fucking it's like, guys, you can criticize a game for multiple things. It doesn't make you a misogynist. You hate a female lead? Okay, that's fucking dumb. You hate the fact that someone is running around with a fake arm doing things that shouldn't be possible with that? Okay, you can probably make an explanation for that. If you go, hold on, women were allowed on the front lines, and if you're on the other side, go, hey, listen, that's not necessarily true. EA missed to teach a woman to go, hey, no, we based this woman off some of the female French resistance fighters happened in World War II, or some of the female pilots in Russia. Rather than just screaming misogyny, go, hey, this is why we made this decision. And it all came to a head when Patrick Söderlund came out and said, quote, either accept this is happening or don't buy the game. I am fine with either or. Which makes even people on the fence hear that and go, well, fuck you, I'm not going to buy your game.
I actually thought that was kind of dope.
No, you don't take that. The problem with that is when you challenge people, they're going to go, okay, fuck off.
I get that. I just thought it was like a ballsy thing to say. I legitimately thought that was funny when that came out. Like, look, we're going to have women in our game. We're doing this thing. if you don't like it, suck it.
And
Fuck
they
you
fucking
guys.
I agree with the
And
sentiment. I absolutely agree with the sentiment, but they handled it so poorly. You don't go, if you don't like it, fucking suck it. You go, hey, listen, we based the main character off of the people who are screaming about historical accuracy. We based it off of these women. Here are these French resistance fighters here. Here is the
it
story
would have been
of...
much better if they had said, here's what this character is based
Yeah,
on,
exactly.
here's where we're getting this information, and then added, so if you don't like that, suck it.
No, if you work in PR, you don't add if you don't like that, then suck it. That's
I
no,
know,
you don't do that.
but-
I there's a difference between our level, where we're going to tell someone to kiss our ass, and when you're at Patrick Söderlund's level, who you have thousands of people listening to, and they're looking for you for an answer, and you are in charge of a multi-million-dollar company. You can't say shit like that. Even if it feels good to say it, you go, this is who we're basing it off of. Here are the Night Witches, which were, I think, a Russian aviation squadron based of all women. Here is this female Russian sniper with a shit ton of kills that actually went on tour. These are people that actually lived. You highlight these people and you go, this is why we included her in here. You don't then just go, remember what we said at the start of the show. You don't challenge the internet.
Yep.
Saying, accept it or don't buy the game. I'm fine if either or is a fucking challenge, and the internet responded. Coco for Tacos, thank you for joining chat. We definitely appreciate it. I think that is going to wrap this topic up rather nicely. These are all combined, regardless of what people are saying. You have some people going, yeah, see, get woke, go broke, and it's because there's a female protagonist. No, that's not why Battlefield 5's pre-orders are sucking. That's a small part of a bigger picture. You have other people going, oh, it's because EA does nothing but loot boxes. Yeah, it's probably a bigger part of a larger picture. It's all of this combined, a series of blunders and missteps. And as always, the reality of the situation is it is a much more complex issue than what everyone on the internet thinks it is. Let us know what you think down in the comments below, if what your reason for buying or not buying Battlefront 5 is. I'm kind of curious to know. David.
Yo.
Why don't you go ahead and lead us off on the next topic here.
All right. Well, this is something that I think we knew was coming ever since we saw a tweet of a damn light switch like months ago.
I forgot about that. You're right. They have been teasing this for a while.
Yeah. In another poorly kept secret, Diablo 3 really is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and it's going to do it in 2018 with exclusive content. This is actually from Forbes, which is a great source for it because they accidentally leaked it a day early.
As a side, I feel real bad for Eric Kane. I like Eric Kane quite a bit. I like a lot of his articles.
He legitimately fucked up.
He just fucked up. He put the wrong date in.
Yeah, he wrote the article a while ago. He basically had it set up to auto post on a certain date. He wrote the wrong fucking date. The thing went up a day early. He pulled it off pretty damn quickly, but the internet never forgets. So it was instantly everywhere. But yeah, Diablo 3 is making its way to Nintendo Switch at long last. The action RPG from Blizzard, which launched on PC back in 2012 and subsequently released on consoles, will launch this year on Switch. The Switch version is called the Eternal Collection, includes the Reaper of Souls expansion, Rise of the Necromancer expansion, plus all the other added content the game has seen, and it's $60. So that's awesome. It's got all the bells and whistles that Diablo has, and it benefits from being this version of Diablo 3. It doesn't have a damn auction house. It's a completely different game from the game that originally launched, and as far as I know, it's way the hell better.
It is. Diablo 3 has had one hell of a renaissance since when it first came out.
Yep, it also has some nice Nintendo tie-in exclusives. There's a Ganondorf cosmetic armor set, Triforce portrait frame. You can get a chicken for a pet. You can get some Echoes of the Mask cosmetic wings. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, what I'm excited about is recently I talked about Titan Quest coming out for Switch and how I like those action RPG style games. And the funny thing is, Titan Quest was that stopgap game that came out before Diablo 3, after Diablo 2, and that wasn't really happening. It was very Diablo 2-y. So good on those guys for releasing about a month ago because, hey, look, Diablo 3 showed up right after your game did, just like it did the first time. But playing this on Switch sounds awesome. Up to 4 players can play locally together on a single Switch.
That's got to be crowded. I don't know how that's going to work. I want to see it, but that has to be so crowded.
Don't you have a dock and a television?
I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah, you're like one of the idiots.
I didn't even piece that. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I have 4 controllers for the Switch, and this is amazing because I miss couch co-op, and hell yes, I am down to play Diablo 3 on a TV. In addition, up to 4 players can play on 4 different Switch units wirelessly without an internet connection.
That's
so if you have
amazing.
a group hangout of friends, and you have 4 Switches, you can do the thing from the original Switch commercial
That's
and all
amazing.
play together. You can also team up online with the Nintendo Switch Online service. Womp womp. Look at that. The Nintendo Switch Online service is finally coming out in September, just in time for Diablo 3. How surprising. It's also, from what I hear, you can play with 2-player local and still play online with more people.
I kind of want to buy this. I own Diablo 3 on PC, but having this on...
absolutely buying this.
Really?
I actually canceled my order for Titan Quest because reading a lot of the reviews for it, it just didn't seem like it played that well, and it looked really bad. Like I don't know. It's dated. I love that game on PC. I put a ton of hours in it, but I didn't know that I needed to go back. And I've legitimately skipped Diablo 3. Never played it.
It's a good game now. It plays a lot like Diablo 2. I know the hardcore
Everyone's
people will
told me
freak
that I
out when
needed
I
to play
say
it.
that.
And the Switch is where I go to play backlog games that I missed.
Yeah, I love that you can just take 4 different Switches and wirelessly connect to them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Without internet. It just does that game share thing. I can't remember what they call it.
Yep. Oh no, we have to pay $20 a year for the Nintendo Switch Online service. Although I am pretty pissed at it because their online traditionally sucks, and you're not getting a whole lot of anything. But at least it's $20 a year.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I don't play Switch games online.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably just gonna play Diablo locally, but
yeah, same here.
Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Now, if they
add a Super Nintendo Virtual Console that I have unlimited access to with the online service, I will buy that. I will absolutely spend $20 a year so that I can play Illusion of Gaia on my fucking Switch on a plane.
If they do some kind of Virtual Console thing, I'd be on top of it too. But I don't think that's going to happen, especially since they can just resell it.
But as it is, it's a bunch of shitty NES games.
Yeah.
And NES games aren't any fun.
I'd argue with you there, but I don't
anymore.
Want to. I don't want to get into it.
There's like 4 games that aged well.
Okay, name them.
I don't fucking know.
Okay,
because I honestly don't think any of them are really that playable.
Well, let's see if I can do it right off the top of my head. Okay, I'll count all the Mario games as one game for you. How's that?
Super Mario Brothers 3 is still playable.
Super Mario Brothers 1 and 2 are still playable too.
Okay, then how about the entire All-Star collection?
Yeah, well, I'll call that one game. Contra.
Okay.
Contra and Super Contra, both extremely playable. And Super Contra, interesting enough, was not on the Super Nintendo. That was Contra 3. So I'm going to count that still as one game. Contra right there. Ninja Gaiden. Pinnacle of platforming, hard as nails, controls very well still to this day. Final Fantasy, the first one. Still holds up. It's an amazing travel game because it's simplistic enough to actually be tucked away real nice and neat into a corner there.
Yeah, I don't like it.
DuckTales still plays fantastically, and by extension, so does that Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers game.
I don't know. I just can't do it.
Okay, well, that's not... We didn't say what you can and can't do. We said what plays well still.
Okay. Well, we can
There's more
agree
than 4
to
games.
disagree.
I can go on and on and on. There are many games.
You can go on and on and on, and I will continue to tell you how I'm not going to play any of those games.
The problem is that we have been tainted by shows like The Angry Video Game Nerd, which highlight bullshit like the Silver Surfer and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, which is a garbage game.
No, I've been tainted by new games that play like exceptionally well, and I've no desire to go back to NES era side-scrolling nonsense. I just don't. That's what I'm saying. That's my whole point.
Okay.
I don't want to go back to the NES.
That's fine.
I will happily go back to the Super
They're
Nintendo.
not bad games, though. They're not. Gradius and Life Force hold up still to this day as far as gameplay goes. As pure gameplay. They're not as flashy. They're not as bright and shiny colored. But you cannot tell me that Super Mario 3, for example, does not have fantastic gameplay.
Super Mario 3 was like the one I listed. Let's talk about THQ. This is bullshit. Diablo 3 coming out September.
Tone it down there. You're making me redline. So, THQ essentially put out this press release a couple days ago saying that THQ Nordic today announced the acquisition of the video game trilogy Timesplitters.
Fucking Timesplitters. This is the greatest story of this week.
I'll tell you why you shouldn't get... I'll tell you why you shouldn't get excited for it here in a second.
Okay, but
Go ahead.
Timesplitters is amazing. We just got to talk about these games. There's some shooters from the early 2000s. You got Timesplitters, Timesplitters 2, Timesplitters 3, Future Perfect. Oh
Future
man, this
Perfect
game's
was legitimately good.
yeah, that game's fantastic.
Going
And
off of the press
hilarious
release.
storyline, full co-op.
Going on from the press release. The three-game series earned a large and passionate fan base thanks to its unique humor, art style, and pop culture references while encouraging customization and modification to give each person their own individual experience. Timesplitters was created by a development studio Free Radical Design that later became Deep Silver Dambuster, part of the THQ Nordic group. In addition to Timesplitters, the IP and rights to the science fiction action-adventure game Second Sight were also acquired. Both acquisitions were made through THQ Nordic's fully owned subsidiary Coach Media Group, GmbH. I like how they just went, oh, we also bought Second Sight too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, cool, right? Timesplitters, I liked it. You liked it. The problem is, Nordic has been doing nothing but gobbling up old IP and doing nothing with it at all. They could be doing stuff they haven't announced. I think they have like 23 games in development right now, but none of it has been announced. So do not get your hopes up. Just kind of a list of things that they have bought over the years but have done nothing with it that are on the same level, in my opinion, as Timesplitters, as far as like sales and cult following, etc. They bought Gothic, which was an RPG series. The last game came out in 2008. THQ acquired it in 2011. 7 years, no announcement of a new game. Painkiller. Last expansion came out in 2012. Acquired it in 2011. No game. Destroy All Humans. Last game in 2008. Acquired in 2013. Had that for 5 years. No game. Full Spectrum Warrior. Last game came out in 2004. Acquired in 2013. No game. Summoner. We all remember that janky-ass RPG on PS2, but that has a weird cult following for some reason, enough to make a sequel to it. Last one of those came out in 2001. Acquired in 2013. No movement on that front. Nothing with the IP at all. Jagged Alliance, turn-based tactical strategy game where you play a company of mercenaries in South America. Last game was in 2014 as a free-to-play game. We don't count that. We push that aside. The last real game came out in 2004. Acquired in 2014. No movement on that front at all. Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy, a reasonably competent platformer for PlayStation 2. Not the best, but not bad by any stretch. Last game of that came out in 2014. No game on that, or 2004 rather. Acquired in 2016. No game on that. Many, many, many smaller games over the years that they have released. Or picked up. No games on it. You mentioned Titan Quest, which got an expansion 13 years later in console release. That is one of many games that they bought the rights to and have done nothing with.
And yeah, it's one of the other ones I was most excited for. So, if we're tracking, things that I really like seem to work out.
My point stands.
Yes, it is highly unlikely. Yes, I know you're here to shit on my dreams.
Yes.
I still want to believe.
I know. I'm just saying that THQ Nordic are buying these up, not to make new games, but to either A, resell somewhere else, or B, make money off the legacy rights, because some of this shit could still be found on like good old games, and some of they still make money on Steam.
Give me an HD remake of the first 3 games on one disc, and I'll play it.
Now, to your benefit, that might happen, because they just did that with Red Faction Remastered Edition.
Yeah.
And they released it for free if you own that game already.
Timesplitters Future perfect. I'm down.
Future Re-perfect.
Oh, well, that's good too. But Timesplitters is more ridiculous than that, so I think Future sounds just dumb enough to fit in.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the last story. David, you take this over because this is all you.
Oh, dude, this is barely even a story. We're just going to talk about the fact that for the first time, I am finally getting the PlayStation 4 DualShock in Sunset Orange to release in America. From the PlayStation blog, they just showed off a bunch of new colors that are actually coming out in the US. One of them is the Sunset Orange controller that came out in the UK a while ago. I think that controller is awesome. It's very orange. It's got purple buttons and joysticks. There's also a blueberry controller that's like a very light blue with like kind of pinkish.
Like magenta controller. Highlights.
Yeah. There's a blue camo controller, and then there's a copper controller, which is a solid color. It looks pretty good.
I like the copper one myself.
I do think the copper looks nice. But there you go. We finally get some new DualShock 4 controllers, and I like this because I feel like the US barely gets new colors for anything, just in general that's gaming related, and I'm happy. And they're releasing at, I think, the regular MSRP, which is like $60 for a DualShock 4 controller.
No, they're
But that's
releasing at 65. Actually, they're releasing at 64.99, which is high. I don't know why they're releasing at that price. There's like a premium $5 premium price for color.
I guess that's weird, but it's still better than the fact that up until now, this announcement, the best way for me to get the Sunset Orange controller is to import it from the UK and spend closer to $90 on it.
Yeah, the hell with that.
So yeah, I'm specifically excited to have an orange PlayStation.
You're a fan of orange.
I don't know how you're thinking that.
I've seen your car. So that kind of wraps up the news of the week. It was a surprisingly busy week. We're going to start getting more and more news as convention season kicks off, which brings us to our semi-reoccurring segment, Things to Watch Out For this week. As some of you may know, Gamescom is kicking off in Germany this week, so it's kind of like their version of E3 over there. Not as many big announcements, but still expect a lot of announcements to be coming out over the week. We'll probably touch on a few of them next show. Some things
something that already happened at Gamescom, NVIDIA revealed the pricing and the naming scheme and specs for all its new graphics cards.
Yeah, take a look at that. I think the high-end one's going to be running for $1,200. By the way, Orlo, thank you for showing up. You're over in France. Let me know if you're going to Gamescom, by the way. I think it might only be a couple hours for you because Europe's generally small. Not meant to be an insult. It's just smaller than America because America's got a lot of space. So
yeah, the big thing though is the non-founders editions. So like the other brands, the MSIs, the Antex, the whatever else. The high end is gonna be $1,000, and the 2070 is gonna be like $500.
So, you know, the 70 cards are usually the best quality to price ratio you can get. Usually. Yep.
So that 2070 is going to be probably better than a 1080 Ti is currently.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've heard they've already sold out of all of them.
I don't think pre-orders have even gone up for the 70s yet, but the 1080 or the 2080 Ti's and the 2080s did have pre-orders, which are probably all gone.
Yeah, that's last time I heard they were sold out on anything pre-orders.
We'll see.
So some times and dates in case you're interested. Microsoft doesn't have a conference, but they will be starting their Inside Xbox Tuesday, August 21st, which is tomorrow at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, and that is in the morning, a.m. 10:30 a.m., 7:30 a.m. if you're where I am. Blizzard will be live streaming Wednesday starting at 4:30 a.m. Eastern, 1:30 a.m. Pacific. CD Projekt Red will be announcing more information on Cyberpunk 2077. No exact idea when that's going to happen.
Please show us that behind closed doors gameplay demo that they had.
They might, since it leaked already, they might be throwing it out. And of kind of personal note, because I'm kind of intrigued in how this is going to work, Capcom will be doing Devil May Cry 5 playable on the show floor, from what I hear.
That's awesome.
We'll have to find out if that actually works or not, but that is just something that I heard. Either way,
interested in how that throwback works.
Stuff to look forward to this week, but it's all games that won't be coming out for quite a while. Devil May Cry 5 might be the closest one, even then that's still next year. So, David, that's a long wait. If I wanted to play something right now, however, what's coming out this week?
There's a couple things coming out this week. This first one is actually a funny twist. This is a Switch game that's coming out on PS4 and Xbox One. And I'm talking about Brawlout. Yeah,
as opposed to getting ported down.
Yeah, right? Brawlout is very much a Smash clone, but with all the things that make Smash fun taken out. This is much more a competitive Smash clone.
Okay.
No items. It's all about mechanics, fighting, and it's grindy as fuck. I legitimately bought this game on Switch because I wanted something that was Smash Brothers related. This was before Smash Brothers was even announced. I was really excited to play something multiplayer fighting game. And it's so arduous to unlock characters. They basically only want you to play online. It does have some guest characters. It has like the guy from Hyper Light Drifter. It's got Guacamelee in it. It's got a couple other cool.
Oh, it's got who in it?
But Guacamelee.
Okay.
And that's kind of cool. But unlocking these people is such a pain in the ass. You have to play the game so damn much, and it almost looks like a free-to-play game, except for you can't just spend money on it. You just have to. You only get the grind.
It makes me wonder if it was originally designed for that, and they changed scope halfway through.
It almost seems that way. But yeah, if you're looking for a Smash clone that's just like lighthearted and fun, this ain't that. If you're super hardcore in like the competitive scene and you like the actual fighting game mechanics of Smash, then maybe this does something for you. Sure as hell doesn't for me. Also coming out this week, we have Fall of Light coming out on PS4. This game's been on Steam for a while. It has mixed reviews right now. It's an isometric view, Dark Souls style game with
what isn't these days?
With a minor babysitting mechanic. It's an escort game. Story-driven dungeon crawler set within a world consumed by darkness. It's like Ico meets Torchlight with some Dark Souls thrown in it.
So, one, there's only one good babysitting game, and you just mentioned Ico. 2?
Yeah.
New Torchlight game coming. Super excited for that. 3?
Well, that's not.
Those are the only 2 important takeaways from Fall of Light.
Yeah, kind of. Also coming out this week, we have Guacamelee 2 for PS4 and PC.
So excited.
This is the luchador-based side-scrolling platforming game that's, I don't know, it's pretty entertaining.
Man, what a time for Metroidvanias. You had Chasm come out.
Dude.
You can check my review over on GameCritics.com. Chasm is amazing. Dead Cells, I haven't had a chance to play that yet, but goddamn does Dead Cells look good. Guacamelee this week?
Dude, with the Mega Man style boss fights that this game has, and like crazy, almost Meat Boy-esque mechanics, jump through levels.
The only thing
I also
go ahead.
finally picked up Hollow Knight, and I've been playing that on Switch because I recently had a long plane flight. That's why I was missing last week, and that game's real damn good.
The only thing missing from this Metroidvania renaissance right now that we're experiencing is if Nintendo were to come out and go, we are making a brand new Metroid 2D that looks like Super Metroid. And if Konami somehow out of nowhere goes, we're making Symphony of the Night 2, and it's going to be from the same guys.
Are they making a 2D Metroid? Oh no, they just re-released Metroid 2. That's
right. They released, which is it's fine. I don't like a lot of the. I don't like a lot of what they did to it. It's fine. Some bad news on that front, though. A Game Boy game. Some bad news on that front now. While we're talking about Metroidvanias, Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night delayed till 2019.
Really?
And no more Vita version.
What? Oh man, that's really upsetting. I don't like that.
I am worried about Bloodstained. I don't think it's going to be a Mighty Number 9 situation, but this is why I hate video game Kickstarters. It always gets delayed. It always gets pushed around. I'm using always in hyperbolic terms, but Christ, I am so worried that Bloodstained's going to be bad now. I keep hearing just delay after delay and problem after problem, and I'm just really, really concerned about it.
Well, here's something else for you. I know you're worried about Bloodstained getting pushed back and back and back, but how about something that's finally coming out that I didn't even think would see the light of day? The Shenmue 1 and 2 collection for PS4, Xbox One, and PC is actually releasing this week. Shenmue, a classic Dreamcast game from back in the day. A whole lot of people like it. It is probably not what you think, and it might not be what you remember, but it is ridiculous. It has a very distinct style.
Lot of rose-colored glasses when it comes to
It's a bit of a walking simulator. You mostly just talk to people, but a lot of the stuff this game did was kind of groundbreaking in the time, and it's not nearly as revolutionary as it once was, but it's a cool slice of what life was like for us gamers back in 1999. So you can play that this week. You have a choice of the modern or classic controls.
I do like that.
They did some awesome stuff there. The Japanese audio is actually available for the global audience, so you're not stuck with, do you know where I can find any sailors, for the whole game. You can scale the screen resolution. It's got faithful recreations in 1980s Japan and Hong Kong, China. And there's tons of distractables, arcade games, collectibles, duck racing, martial arts combat, and more.
I'm not going to mock you if you like Shenmue. I totally understand it.
I loved Shenmue back in the day, and I will fully admit I played that game in its entirety on Dreamcast probably 16 years ago. So, who knows? It could be a terrible game for all I know.
Yeah, I absolutely respect.
I remember it fondly.
People who liked Shenmue 1 and 2. I get that it's very story-driven. I love story-based games, but there is so much rewriting of history on Shenmue. A lot of it. For example, you have people say, oh, it's one of the greatest games of all time. No, it was barely a game. It was, like you said, for the most part, a walking simulator. I know if I'm going to get shit for saying that, and people go, no, you could do this, and there was this on here. I get all that. But as far as a game goes, if you strip out the story, there's no game there. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's what makes the thing entertaining, is the story. But the story itself, I always thought was very contrived. It didn't make too much sense in a lot of places. And I get that there's also supposed to be 9 games. We only get the first 2. But there is so much twisted nostalgia when it comes to this franchise that we need to kind of take a breath and go, is it as good as we remember? And the answer, in my opinion, is no. But that said, I am happy a third one's coming out. I hope it wraps things up, because it fucking sucks to have a very well-received potential trilogy of games, Valve, that you release and people want to know how it ends and nothing ever comes around from it. So I am happy that you guys are getting Shenmue 3. But let's not claim that it's one of the greatest games of all time.
I'm probably going to play Shenmue 1 and 2 anyway.
Sure,
mainly
go
just
for
to spite you.
Go for it. I'm not saying that it's not going to make me angry if you like these games.
I'm going to play it and then purposely have fun.
Purposely have fun.
Yeah,
right.
It's going to be some damn good fun.
I hope
anyway,
so.
We're already running long. I need to run through a few more games. Let's get back into this. We have Spectrum releasing for Switch, PS4. This is an indie adventure platformer. It's like an abstract world where you kind of shoot around these little shapes and colors, going through levels. Sort of puzzly, not really. It's got 80 levels in 8 different environments. There's a whole lot going on, and it's been on Steam since 2016. So if you want to read some reviews or take a look at it, you can go over there, or you can pick it up on Switch, where it'll probably be the most fun. Also coming out this week on Switch is something that you're probably excited for.
Now, if you want an example of a great game from the 90s,
let's talk about how FMV games are now and always were trash.
They are.
With Night Trap 25th Anniversary Edition. This game should have stayed in the past. I hope you enjoy your time with it, Steven. Moving on.
Coming to the Switch. And I will be the first one to tell you, fucking full motion video games like Night Trap, Ground Zero Texas, and the not too recently announced remaster of Double Switch starring Corey Feldman, or Haim, the one that's dead.
Haim.
I loved these goddamn things growing up. And I still kind of do. Things like The Bunker and The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker.
FMV
and a little bit her
games
story.
are your Shenmue.
I don't know why I love FMV games so much, but goddamn it, I do.
Yeah,
and even I'm willing to admit they are mostly garbage, because anything that was on the Sega CD is mostly garbage. That the company was like Digital Extremes that made these. They're all bad. I know that when we saw Mark Hamill and the porn star in Wing Commander 3, we were like, holy shit, this is a real movie. It's got the guy that played Biff from Back to the Future in it. My God, look at that. That's Gimli before he was Gimli. But let's face it, that was all bad. But I love it still.
The only thing I'll say is that the limited run physical release for Night Trap is already sold out.
Well, it's limited run. And clearly the demand is there.
Obviously, the demand is there for all 8 physical copies of that game.
You know, I might have for every bad game that was on the Sega CD, and there were a lot of them, out of every 10 one of those, you'd have one good game. Because there were some great games on Sega CD. The first one that comes to my mind is Lunar. What an amazing RPG that was.
Lunar was cool. Well, speaking of maybe RPGs? Not really. Let's talk about turn-based strategies that are set in the Cold War, like Phantom Doctrine, which is coming out on Xbox One this week. This game's been on Steam for a while. It's got kind of mixed reviews. A lot of people really, really like this game, and then you have the occasional person that just fucking hates it. So I don't know how to really deal with those reviews. It's like a bunch of people slammed it with a 0, and everyone else is more in the upper middle range. But it's like a spy versus spy styled turn-based strategy game with a single-player campaign that's about 40 hours. And there's a whole bunch of different missions and procedurally generated side content in the game. And as far as I know, people that like XCOM-style games tend to like it.
You can take a look at GamePoints review of Phantom Doctrine, an actual review from us. I was given an advanced copy of this game directly from the developers. Thank you, guys at Creative Forge Games. This is made by the people who made Hard West. So if you liked Hard West, you have an idea if you're going to in here. I really enjoyed Phantom Doctrine, some quibbles aside, up until 24 hours into my save, the game soft locked on me. And a mission critical mission would never spawn.
Damn.
And at that point, I was like, hey, I like what to sum up my review. I like what I saw there. It's got a bunch of issues, all the same issues that were in Hard West carryover, but the game fucking froze on me. Not free. It's off locked. It wouldn't let me progress, and I have to review the game that I'm given, not the game that could be. So my stance is, I don't recommend it right now. 6 weeks from now, once it's all been patched out, try it again. But I really enjoyed what I saw there because it is 80s Cold War espionage to a T. And what I love is that it's an XCOM game that you can go in completely undercover, silenced weapons, clear the level out, get what you need, and get the fuck out. And you can do the entire thing without setting off a single alarm. And you get rewarded for it. It is an actually viable stealth strategy game.
That's fantastic.
And that's kind of hard to do. But if you're looking to play it Iron Man mode, don't, because the game has issues that will destroy your save.
All right. Well, there you go. I think that about wraps up new releases, which means that wraps up the show.
Absolutely. This has been GamePoints episode 140. Thank you all for watching. See some of you in chat still. Coco for Tacos, always appreciate it. Orlo, I know you had to bounce real quick. And if you can, we do stream live every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here at Twitch TV/GamePoint. So be like them. You can join in the chat, give in your feedback, opinions, topics you want to talk about. If you can't watch us live, however, you can always tune in onto our past shows over at youtube.com/c/GamePointsPC. Leave your questions, comments, concerns, and all that right there. Regardless of where you watch us at, Salty Frank of the Seven Seeds, who I have not seen in ages. And yes, we are wrapping up. I am so sorry, man, that you missed out. But regardless of where you happen to watch old shows, new shows, live, and all that, like, comment, subscribe, follow, dislike, leave criticism, comments, questions, concerns, bits, subscriptions. You all been on the internet. You know what every show like this asks for. You can follow the show on Twitter at GamePointsPC. You can follow myself, Steve Moran, at CapitalistPig21. You can follow David there at Palstrife_Satori if you want to listen to our random ramblings. Until then, this has been GamePoints episode 140. We will be next Monday back. We will be back next Monday. And until then,
I'm actually back.
We'll see you.